Beyond the recipe with Christian Smalls. Beyond the recipe, we're breaking down walls. Shake it, bake it, make it divine. Cooking up joy one bite at a time. Yeah. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah, ooh yeah. From the pantry to the plate.
All right, well, today we've got brisket. I just got a nice brisket from H-E-B. H-E-B is a local store here. If you don't have one near you, I'm sorry. But if you do, the blessings are real, aren't they? They are real. All right, I am going to rinse this meat off. Let me grab some plastic gloves. So, if you haven't noticed, I am in my kitchen and we are doing a new show. And this is the first episode, you guys. I'm really excited to do a cooking show. I love to eat. I'm one of those guys that if you can prepare it good and make it taste good, I don't care what it is, I am in. But the caveat is I want to stay healthy. So in order to stay healthy, you can't just eat anything. And I put these gloves on wrong. Generally, you put the glove on and then you slide the other one on. But now I got to be crafty so I don't get contaminants from the meat on my hand. All right, so I've got this meat here. I'm just going to rinse this off a little bit. Now, I do know that there are some questions about rinsing off meat, or is the water itself healthy for our body? You know, I kind of understand where you're coming from, but today, you guys, I'm not going to worry about that. All right, so I've got my seasonings here. I like to use a broth instead of water because a broth has more flavor in it. And like I said, we've got contaminants in public water. I don't know where you live, but our public water here is just okay. And I'm in Corpus Christi, Texas. I think it's general that we don't drink tap water. But so I like to either boil my water if I'm going to put it in there, or I'll use beef broth. And that works out well. I've got some ginger juice because I love ginger. And if you know the power of ginger, you know that ginger is very, very good for you. If not, go research it. There's AI out here, guys. Just throw it in the AI tool. Benefits of ginger, it'll tell you. I've got some seasoning. This is from the beautiful HEB. I say beautiful because HEB is just great. It just really is. But they make these seasonings, or they sell these seasonings. It's a Fiesta brand, so if you have Fiesta around you, they probably have it. And this is an Uncle Chris gourmet seasoning. It is a very, very great seasoning. It's a steak seasoning. Hopefully that camera is clear, and it tastes really, really well. All right, then I got some Louisiana Cajun seasoning, only because I like those Cajun flavors, so I'm going to keep those in my mouth. And I've got some cumin and some whole cloves. I don't know why I said white cloves. Whole cloves. And this is going to give me my aromatics, you know, the flavors you get. They kind of clear your nostrils or make you, you know, smells refreshing. Like I want that feeling when I eat my food. I want to feel refreshed and get that. And they've got some great health benefits as well. Cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper, of course, is going to supply me some heat and it's good for me. I like the taste of fish sauce. This is just an Asian fish sauce you get at the Asian food store. I'm not sure the name because I don't read that language, but it's really, really tasty. And then we got some rice vinegar. Rice vinegar is really good with flavor and it's going to help make that meat really, really tender. And then I like to use, guys, I just found this in the store recently and I've been cooking for a long time and I've just ran across Szechuan pepper. It tastes really, really, really good. If you haven't used Szechuan pepper, you guys, you want to try it because it really adds a nice blend. Szechuan pepper, pink and black is what it says. Peppercorns with coriander seeds, salt, create a bright, lemony, and complex flavor. Ideal for seafood, steaks, vegetables, and an interesting twist, you guys. Szechuan pepper. This is by McCormick. McCormick is not paying me for this ad, but if you want to pay me for this ad, check my description. All right, so I've got that. I've got some mushrooms over here. We've just got some. It's just some regular portobello, baby portobello mushrooms, and then I've got some cilantro. We'll crack all that open in a minute. But first, I'm gonna get this meat prepared, and I'm just gonna put some light cuts in here, just to make it tenderize a little better. Now, generally, I like to put in like a little garlic in here, but I forgot to get the garlic, and I don't want to wait to shoot this video another day. So today, we're gonna do it without garlic, but we're gonna put some holes in it too, so that seasoning gets all the way through. So I heard a wise man say one time, amateurs season the food so it tastes good, but real cooks season the bone. Yeah, so think about that. So we are going to season the bone. And the way we do that, of course, you're saying to yourself, that meat doesn't have bones in it. No, brisket doesn't have a bone. But if it did, we're going to act like it did. And we are going to season it as if there were a bone in it. And we're going to brine this meat today in beef broth. So you ask yourself, oh, you're not going to cook it today? I'm going to cook it today. We're going to do some time lapse, and I'm going to jump to. But we're going to get started on how to create the brine and how to make sure that your flavor is all the way through that meat and you just knock people's socks off every time you cook. So we're going to take this meat and put it in I just have a glass dish. You can get a glass dish from your local store. I choose not to use plastic because plastic can break down and give you some trouble. So I decide against plastic as much as possible. Of course, I have some things in plastic here, but I'm not going to store it in plastic because I'm going to brine this meat for 3 days. Yes, 3 days. You ask why 3 days? So 3 days. What I found, not like I say, I'm not any culinary specialist or great degree culinary guy, but I cook a lot. And what I found is if I brine the meat for 3 days, because it is beef, beef takes longer for to the seasoning to get into the fibers of the meat. So if it was like a fish or something, you can do that 24 hours or maybe 2 days. But with beef, you want to give it just a little bit longer so that the meat, the seasoning can get into those pores. And the idea is, and from what I've researched, and it could be wrong, you tell me, leave me a comment. But the pores of the meat actually contract when the meat gets cold and it takes that seasoning in with it. So the more seasoning you can get into that broth or that brine, the better. So we're going to season our brine really heavily so that we don't have to season the meat later. And we could put something light over it, but I found if I season my brine and I season my meat, it comes out too salty. So you want to make sure for you, if you put a lot of salt, if you heavily season your brine, don't season your meat. You won't have to. All right. So I'm going to take this and put it in here. Good. I'm going to put this in. Let's put it down. Yeah. I'm going to put it down with the fibers down, with the fat facing up. Okay. So from there, what I'm going to do is this guy off, and let's throw some onion in there. This first layer. Right, and I'm gonna cut it like this. Just because I need more practice doing this. And the more I do it, the better. Okay. Oh, see, I almost forgot. Go this way too. Let me just cut this off. Bring you back over here. Yeah. Now, secret to, I know you're probably thinking, how's he cutting red onion and he's not crying? The secret to that is to make sure you always breathe through your mouth and not your nose, because if that gets into your nose, then those sinuses flare up. But if you breathe it through your mouth, it's not as bad. So breathe through your mouth and you'll be okay. All right, I grabbed a little pepper. I'm gonna cut up a pepper. I believe this is a serrano pepper. I'm gonna cut it up, put it in there because I want just a little bit, some heat. Heat in there. And I'm gonna stir all this up anyways in a minute. All right, so I need today. I am preparing a cookbook. I'll make sure to you on the next episode. Before right now, what I'm going to do is use 1 teaspoon of each ingredient, because I found that when I do put my recipes together, I'm generally doing a teaspoon of each one. So I am going to use this guy. Actually, let's do it this way. And that's 1 teaspoon of that. And because, like I said, I like this to be a little salty, I'm going to give it just another 1 teaspoon. And then here, I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of the good stuff. Ginger juice, 1 teaspoon. And then we're going to save this for last. I'm going to tell you about this. All right, let's do 1 teaspoon of some fish sauce. Actually, 1 teaspoon of fish sauce is quite a bit, you guys. If you have ever eaten fish sauce, it is a lot. It's definitely going to penetrate this meat. Then I'm going to do a half teaspoon just because it's very potent. This is very potent. So do a half a teaspoon or less than a half. If it's not a real large piece of meat, I'll do less than a half a teaspoon, maybe, you know, quarter of a teaspoon, whatever that is. What's a quarter of a teaspoon in our measurements? Anybody know? Comment, let us know. All right. Here, vinegar. And I'm gonna give that 2 teaspoons of vinegar. I want that meat to really nice and tender. I like what vinegar does to the meat. All right, here we got some seasoning. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of this guy. Yep. All right. And remember, this is brine, so we want it to be a little salty. All right, I've got some mushrooms, some baby portobello mushrooms, slice. I'm gonna throw those in there. Some cilantro. All right, this cilantro, I'm just gonna cut it up in some. I really just want kind of disturb it and get that um, flavor out of it. I'm gonna use all of it. Like I said, it's meat, so I wanted to absorb all of these flavors. Just do 9 turns of this. All right, it's a pretty large piece of meat, but I want it to brine well. Let's get rid of this guy. All right. And this is what we're coming up with so far. If you don't mind the blood that's going to be inside after 3 days, you can pour all of this into your pressure cooker, which is what we're going to use, and or foil pan if you put it in a foil pan. But you can use all of this in there. Okay, so it's up to you. But for me, what I'm going to do now is put in my broth. Okay, so we've got, this is just a 32 ounce HEB beef broth, right? 32 ounces. So we're gonna pour this across here. Good. We got 32 ounces there. And then what I'm gonna do, and this is a bonus. If you watch the video this far, you get the bonus. I went to an Asian restaurant recently and I had pho. So what I like to do is reuse different types of broth. So I'm gonna pour off this this pho broth in here. Here, let's use the sprouts too. Okay. What I'm going to do now is put this in the refrigerator for 3 days. I have a top. I'm going to place the top over the lid. And I like to, after I put the lid on a little bit, I like to just shake it up, let those ingredients kind of get around. Hopefully yours is sealed properly. I'm just going to let it work around. So if you can see the bottom there, I've got juice spilling out. That's okay. So we're gonna let this brine for, like I said, 3 days. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator, and from there we're going to have an amazing brisket, you guys. So stay tuned for what's coming up next. All right, so we got our brisket out of the refrigerator. It has been brining for 3 days, and I am excited. I can't wait to see how the thing is gonna taste. I mean, we've got mushrooms in here, onions, some sprouts, we've got mint leaves. It's going to be absolutely amazing. All right, so what we're going to do is, I've got my pressure cooker here going, and first we're going to, please like, subscribe, tell me what you think in the comments below about this food. If you've cooked it and it worked out for you, I want to hear about it. Let's talk. I want to create a community around cooking with Change LFE, because we're changing people's lives through fitness and education. That's what the LFE stands for. And guess what? We're also making sure that people understand how to cook better and what exercises to do. If you haven't joined the website or looked at our website, join our newsletter, changelfe.com, and stay up to date on fitness tips, nutrition, herbal supplements, regular supplements, you guys, whatever. I'm here to help you. So give me your feedback and share with somebody else. I don't want to be the next kept secret. Share it right now. Somebody else can use this. Share it. We're going to, come on, take this brisket out, and we're going to put it bottom side down. Okay, so bottom side down on the brisket. Now that's in there. We're going to take this broth. Now you can pour your broth directly in, and I like to put those vegetables on the top to make sure that they don't get burned. So put your fat side down so that when that fat starts to render off of there, it cooks into the meat, and it's gonna taste so good. If you notice, I did not season the meat afterwards because all of that season is rushed to that meat already. So I found if I season it twice, it gets a little salty. So I'm not gonna season it again. I'm just gonna let the process do what it does. And you heard them saying, trust the process, right? All right, so we're gonna put this on here like this and lock that in. Now, if you don't have one of these, this is a standard cooker made by Chiefman. So just pick this up somewhere, you guys. It is really good and works really, really well. It actually helps, prevent you having to cook meat so long, as well as keeps the meat tender and moist, and it works out really well. So you have to learn though what your temperature is. You have to learn the amount of time actually to cook it, and it comes with a manual. But today I'm going to set this on 25 because I want it to cook, but I don't want it to get too done or too soggy or too what do they call it? Too moist where it just fall apart. I want it to have some structure but still be very tender. That's the word I'm looking for. Because of that, I'm going to do it for 25 minutes, check it, see what it tastes like. And if not, just crank it up for another 10, 15 minutes. No big deal. So take your time when you cook. Make sure when you cook, give it some love. Take the time it takes. Love is just taking the time it takes to make sure you do things right. Maybe add a little extra right to it, you know? Have fun with it. All right, let's give her open. I'm just gonna set that right there. And ooh, voila, that looks great. So, because I don't know how tender this meat is, I mean, I can touch it and tell she's gonna be pretty tender. Let me see, I might be able to just pick it up. I've just got uh, um, I've just got some tongs to kind of help it out, but you can kind of see that meat is a little bit tender. She's a little flimsy. So, and if we look at the top, you can see all the cuts that were made. You got some mushrooms on there. I mean, she's looking really good. Okay, so I'm gonna let this meat rest for about 10 minutes and we're gonna cut into it. It looks really, really tender. I mean, I could just poke at it and it's just coming apart. I mean, that is. Mm. Oh, yeah. We're gonna let it rest though. And then we're gonna give it a cut. Oh my gosh. Mm, mm. The mushroom, full of flavor. Yeah. We'll let that rest. Give her a cut and see what it tastes like. Stay tuned. All right, we are back. So we've let this meat rest. When you cut brisket, you always want to cut against the grain. So in this case, the grain is running up diagonally toward me. So what I'm going to do is cut against the grain. So let's see if I can. Probably not the best knife to cut with, but it's cutting it. It's got so soft and tender in there. For you, I may have left it in there too long, but for me, mm, this is great. Oh yeah, really good. You can kind of see the fibers in there. So this one got a little. I can't stop eating it. This one is really tender. Yours does not have to be this tender. Make sure you set your pot at what you like. I like it to be tender. I like it to kind of break up on me, versus having like a thin blade of it. Although the blades are good if you're gonna make sandwiches and stuff. What I'm gonna do with this, I need it to be a little bit more soft. But the taste is incredible, and I know I'm not being. Mm, it's great. So we've got some brisket here. It's almost just so tender, so good, you guys. But like I said, set your pot. If you don't want it this tender, I did mine for like 35 minutes. So you may want to do it for like 25 minutes in your crock pot, depending on in your pressure cooker. Depending on what you're cooking it in, it's going to determine if you're doing it in like a foil. If you're doing like a foil pan with foil over the top of it, I would do it at like 350 for maybe like an hour and a half. Check it. If it's not ready, leave it in there for another 30 minutes and find the texture you like for your setting and your scenario. So that includes this portion of our show today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, learned something. I don't know about you, but it is time to eat. I mean, I am just loving this. Absolutely. You know, you want a little bit of that broth? Let me see. Hold on. Just because you guys are here, I'm going to get a little bit of this broth. Pour it in there, like so. And then take some of this. Look at this. And dip it. Oh, that's incredible. Well, you know,
Let's go beyond the recipe with Christian Small.
and hopefully, I'm watching YouTube a lot, and I'm always criticizing people on how they eat. Not to anybody publicly, just in my head. I'm like, that guy doesn't eat really well. He probably doesn't be on TV. I hope that's not me right now, but I can see why they don't care. Because it's so good. I'm gonna dip this in here, you guys.
Got the tips for you.
Mm.
Spatula spin. Let the magic begin. Funky horn flow. Let the groove flow in. Just cooking, we're living it up beyond the recipe.
That's really good. Really good. All right. Well, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care. God bless.